Hello, everybody, and welcome back to yet another daily devotion. This devotion I am preparing for Wednesday, June 1st of 2022. Yes, we have made it to June. And this devotion is also the beginning of the 16th chapter of Matthew's Gospel. Today we're going to look at verses 1 to 4 in the 16th chapter. And yes, I am wearing the same outfit as yesterday's video. That's because I'm recording this video as I did that video on Tuesday, May 31st. I started the day very early. I was over here early to record that devotion, and I'm over here staying late to record this devotion. So my whole day has been bookended by devotions, if that's what you would say. That's not a bad way to spend the day, is it? Bookend the day with devotions. So today what we're talking about is the demand for a sign. And if you remember, we left with Jesus feeding the 4,000, and that was quite a sign. And before the feeding of the 4,000, we talked yesterday about that he was curing the sick and the lame and the mute and the deaf and all of those things. So he was busy doing healings. And then he did the miracle of the division of the loaves and the fishes, the miraculous feeding, in the second one, mind you, at the feeding of the 4,000. And the one that we talked about yesterday was very much more poignantly a miracle, because they'd been out there for 3 days and they would have exhausted what they would have brought with them for provisions, most likely. So at any rate, so these miracles have been going on. That's the point. That's what I'm trying to get back to. So let's look at 16 verses 1 to 4, shall we? The demand for a sign. The Pharisees and the Sadducees came, and to test Jesus, they asked him to show them a sign from heaven. He answered them, "When it is evening, you say it will be fair weather, for the sky is red. And in the morning it will be stormy today, for the sky is red and threatening. You know how to interpret the appearance of the sky, but you cannot interpret the signs of the times. An evil and adulterous generation asked for a sign, but no sign will be given to it except the sign of Jonah." Then he left them and went away. Okay, and remember, this is taking place in the region of Magadan. As we said yesterday, he went to Magadan. Here we have this old saying that people say, or sometimes say, "Red sky at night, sailor's delight. Red sky in morning, sailor take warning." That's where this comes from, that old kind of a little rhyme or whatever, a little ditty about the weather. It comes from this bit of scripture here, what Jesus is saying. And Jesus is saying, you know how to interpret the weather, but you don't know how to interpret me. He's not talking about end time signs that we are to watch for today. He's talking about the scripture foretold his coming and the sign about him, interpret the signs that he's doing. I just got done doing all these healings, as we said. Just got done doing all these division of the loaves and the fishes, twice, mind you. 4 and 5,000, 15 to 12,000 in each one. So what more do you want from me? All you're going to get is he repeats something that he had already told back in chapter 12. If you remember back in chapter 12, the scribes and the Pharisees, and this time we included the Sadducees here, and we haven't seen the Sadducees since chapter 3 in Matthew's Gospel. So the Sadducees have, the Pharisees have been doing most of the heavy lifting, if you will, of attacking Jesus. The Sadducees show back up after being gone for 13 chapters. So they come to him here as the scribes and the Pharisees came to him in chapter 12 and verses 38 to 41. Then some of the scribes and Pharisees asked him, saying, "Teacher, we wish to see a sign from you." But he answered them, "An evil and adulterous generation seeks for a sign, but no sign will be given to it except the sign of the prophet Jonah." That's what he's just said here, okay? So he's repeated that. But in chapter 12, he added to that, "For just as Jonah was 3 days and 3 nights in the belly of the great fish, so will the Son of Man be 3 days and 3 nights in the heart of the earth. The men of Nineveh will rise up at the judgment with this generation and condemn it, for they repented at the preaching of Jonah. And behold, something greater than Jonah is here." So he has this is what he's referring back to, this same thing, the sign of Jonah. Jonah came and convinced the people at Nineveh, and here I am, and I'm doing all these things so much greater than what Jonah did, and you're not buying. But Jonah was able to convince Nineveh. This is the story here. This is not giving us some signs for the end times. Certainly not saying about the sky, color of the sky in the morning and the night, anything like that. And I've never heard anybody say that. That I'm not going to infer that they did. But here he's talking about the 3 days and nights in the tomb, the belly of the earth, just as Jonah was in the belly of the fish. It's another foreshadowing rather of the crucifixion, and the entombment, and the resurrection. Okay, that's what we've got going here. Jesus is laying down another time that confirms who and what he is when the Easter morning comes, resurrection morning. So that's what we've got for you today. Not quite as long as yesterday. So with that, I'm going to let you go because it's been a long day and time for me to go home. Take it easy. I'm going to go work out. So have a very blessed night and have a very blessed night and be a blessing to someone today. Take care. God bless. Bye-bye.